Today, we're going to talk about how to break yourself out of a business slump. If you feel like you're trying real hard right now, but you're not living up to your full potential, or you're not really trying hard and you don't know why, it's probably because you're in a slump and you just need to break yourself out of it. That's all. So, the reason why I'm making this video is I feel like over the past week or so, I have been breaking myself out of a very long slump. I've basically been in a business slump this entire year of 2024 up until this point. I mean, I've been up and down, but overall, just mindset wise, I've been doing a lot of stinking thinking recently, and I don't like it. And I've been trying to break myself out of that and regain my full discipline and my work ethic. I still work harder than most people, but I push myself to the limits at the end of the day. And when I'm not doing that, when I'm not giving every day my all, I just feel not as good as when I do give it my all, right? And so that brings me to my first point is I was reading a book recently by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil, and it brought up a concept called hypnotic rhythm. And so basically what that is that over time, like the past 365 days of your life, for example, the things that you've done the past 365 days are why you are where you are right now and why you are making the decisions on a daily basis that you're making, whether they're negative decisions or positive decisions. It all depends on the decisions you've been making over the past 365 days. And I'm talking about decisions to not self sabotage, decisions to not sleep in, blah, 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 stuff like that. That all builds up into your hypnotic rhythm, your habits, your actions, your decisions, your thought process. You eventually get hypnotized into a rhythm because your mind wants to make things as easy as possible to get throughout the day, right? So as you're doing things over and over, it becomes second nature and it gets built into your hypnotic rhythm of sorts. And so what a slump is, in my opinion, is it's just like a slump in baseball. Your hypnotic rhythm is a negative cycle of loss and feeling bad about yourself. And so you perform worse and worse. But the only way to break out of your slump is to regain your confidence and turn your hypnotic rhythm into a positive cycle of wins and feeling good about yourself, right? The more and more you feel like a loser, the more and more you're going to lose. The more and more you feel and think like a winner and act like a winner, the more you're going to win. And so I always saw that in baseball. Like if I wasn't getting home runs or I wasn't even getting hits, I was getting struck out, 10 times in a row, that would put me into a slump because I would start feeling bad about myself. I would start losing my self confidence when I was at bat. And the only way that I was able to break out of a slump was by getting some small wins and recognizing those small wins. And so that brings me to my next point is that in the beginning, you really need to aim for small wins to build momentum. But not only do you have to aim for those small wins to build momentum, you need to recognize the momentum that you are building. Because if you go and you start, trying to establish a new habit and you do it for a few days, but like then the fourth day, you don't do it, and then you beat yourself up relentlessly over not doing it that fourth day, then you just stop doing it. It doesn't work. But if you had recognized your momentum for those first 3 days, you probably would have done it the fourth day because you would have uh, felt obligated to your past self that made the commitment, that made the promise to yourself to stay to your promise because you have momentum and you've recognized that momentum. And I guess for me, I mean, I was just going through a daily basis of checking off a checklist of habits, and I wasn't really recognizing them as wins each time that I checked it off. I wasn't recognizing it as momentum, and I just kept killing my momentum over and over and restarting and restarting. I mean, you have to do that sometimes. When your habits fail, try and try again. Keep trying to change it. If it's a habit that you need to change, you need to keep trying over and over to build momentum and to build lifetime change, not just short term change, right? Like short term change is what you need to aim for in the beginning. But long term, when you build enough momentum, you will have installed that habit for a lifetime. To break yourself out of a slump, you really just need to aim for small wins. You need to get on base. You need to get a hit. You need to celebrate that hit like it's a fucking home run because that will break you out of the slump. It'll make you feel good about yourself, right? Even though it's not a home run, it doesn't matter. It's a small win. It's something worth celebrating. It's something to reward yourself for so that your lizard brain can break out of the slump that it's in. Now that we're talking about your brain, though, one thing I've been thinking about is inner habits versus outer habits, right? Inner habits are in your mind, your inner thought habits, your inner decision making, whereas your outer habits are your actions, like the actual physical actions that you take based on your thought patterns, your decisions, your feelings, your emotions. But the reality is that outer is really so much less important than inner habits. You really need to install better inner habits to be able to install lifetime, long term outer habits. It's much more difficult to control your emotions, to control your decision making, to control your stinking thinking than it is to control putting food in your mouth or what type of food you're putting in your mouth, because it all stems from your inner decisions and your inner reasons why you are making the change in the first place. And so the reason why I've been thinking about this is because over the past like 6 months or so, I've been making and breaking different habits like a crazy psycho, like just stopping this and doing this. And I've been doing it over and over and over relentlessly with a bunch of things. And I've made a lot of beneficial, positive change because of it, no doubt. But all of the things that I was changing were outer habits. They were actions. They weren't my stinking thinking. They weren't fighting against my self sabotage. They weren't fighting against my negative thoughts. And so I realized that a lot of the reason why I've been in this slump and why I've been so slow to break myself out of it is because I was not focusing on the inner habits, my mindset, more so than my outer habits, right? And so now that I've been thinking more about my inner habits, I've been really, really conscious of my mental self-talk, right? And the way that I talk to myself, the way I treat myself, the way I reward myself or discipline myself. I am very highly conscious of that right now because I'm trying to fix a long time of stinking thinking. That's the best way that I can put it. It's like I was thinking so negative. I was just so beat up, so willing to blame something outside of me for the reason why I was where I was. And it's like, you know, you got to stop doing that. It's like the only way to change thinking thinking is to pay attention to it and to, you know, change your thought process every time that it comes up. It's like turn your stinking thinking into a trigger to start thinking positively every time. And that's what I've been doing. And that's the way that I've been kind of dealing with it. And it has felt good. I don't feel as depressed or anxious each day as I was before, where it was like, it was just bad. It's just bad. I don't need to get into it right now. There's probably another video that you can watch that's about that. But anyway, I guess the other part about inner habits and outer habits, the last part of it is that when you break a habit streak, like I said before, don't give up on the habit. You got to try, and try again until you eventually build it into your unconscious routine or your hypnotic rhythm, right? Once it's built into your hypnotic rhythm, then you can sort of stop paying attention to it as much. You still have to, focus on it to keep it going, but you can also really put your attention into building a new habit once the habit that you're trying to build has been built into your hypnotic rhythm or your unconscious routine. Since we've been talking a lot about the thinking up into this point, my next point is that you really just need to say no to your stinking thinking. Just say no to your negative thoughts. Just say no. If you practice doing that, you will stop talking shit to yourself relatively quickly. I know this from experience. That's exactly what I've been doing as of late is I've been saying no to my negative thoughts when they come up consciously. You have to be really conscious of it because you can get into a loop very quickly where, that negative thought that just came and tickled your mind ends up staying there for hours quickly. But if you just say no to your negative thoughts and you move on from them and you use it as a trigger to think about something else that's positive to counteract it, then you'll stop talking shit to yourself relatively quickly. I was talking shit to myself all day, every day. It started from the time that I woke up. If I slept in that day, that's for damn sure. And it was all the way through the whole day, just beating myself up relentlessly. And although I don't know 100% of the reason why, I know that it has gotten 100% better by just saying no to my negative thoughts. So I would highly recommend the same for you. If you're in a slump and you're in a negative thought pattern, you need to just start saying no to it. Use it as a trigger to think about something else. And as you do that, as you practice doing that, you'll get better and better. Your mind will get more and more positive, and the positive will start outweighing the negative and push the negative out of your mind so far that you don't even have to practice doing it anymore. From there, once you're actually saying no to your negative thoughts, you need to also just let go of your expectations. And maybe that helps suppress the negative thoughts even further. When I was younger, I had zero expectations. I just did the work and the results followed. I wasn't scared of what was on the other side of the work because I had no idea at all, or that I wasn't worried that the results would be shitty either because I had nothing to compare it to. And so I was able to take my last $100 and turn it into $100,000 in sales in 30 days when I was 20 years old, simply because I had no expectations. Whereas once I got older and I had gotten results, I started having bigger and bigger expectations of myself and my work. And what I've come to realize, and what I want to relay to you, is that my expectations have never helped me get better results. And your expectations have never helped you get better results either, I would imagine. Dreaming bigger has helped me get better results, but expectations of those dreams actually panning out, or any of the things along the way working the way that I expected them to work, have only made me swing for the fences more cautiously when I do decide to take my swing at my dreams, when I do decide to take a swing at making my dreams a reality, at least now that I'm older. And you can't swing for the fences with caution. You just need to swing for the fences and not expect anything other than when you do make contact for it to go out of the park. So don't let your expectations hold you back from actually hitting that home run or making your dreams come true. Let go of your expectations. You'll have less negative self talk because of it, for sure. Because as you go along and you're making progress, you'll pat yourself on the back for making progress rather than beating yourself up because you're not living up to the expectations that you set in your mind. And then the last part that I want to talk about here today is that, if you want to truly feel good about yourself, if you're an entrepreneur especially, just give each day your all. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough, like Art Williams said. Try to live each day in day tight compartments. Stop thinking about the past or the future. Just make sure that you give today your all, and make sure that you're doing so much work, or so much quality work. You don't even need to be doing 16 hours of hustle bro, scale bro work. You just need to be doing enough work to where when you do take a break or you stop working for the day, you feel like you deserve to take that break or deserve to take off for the rest of the day because you've done so much work during the time that you're proud of the work that you do, and you truly feel like you earned each break that you take. That's it. The only way to make tomorrow better is by being better today. And the best way to be better today is to just give today your all. Try to do as much as you possibly can without burning yourself out. That's my advice, at least. Take it or leave it. I hope you enjoyed these ideas and concepts that I talked about today. A lot of this is to document for my own purposes, but I really truly hope that this does help people that are in a slump and need to get out of it. If you just pay attention to the things that I talked about today, you'll be able to break yourself out of whatever slump you're in and start building the momentum that you need to succeed. Until next time, my friend.